Bookworms. I did it. I finally got my hands on and I completed reading the Goodreads Best Fiction Book for 2020. Let's discuss it. Bookworms, welcome to the Weekend Readers Book Club. And in this episode, I have read and we are going to discuss The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now, if you haven't read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and you are somewhat like me, very, very behind the times, the story revolves around a lady named Nora. Nora chooses to somewhat end her life. However, before she is fully deceased, she is transported to the Midnight Library, where a library stands the test of time, where potentially she can look back on all her regrets she has in life and live the lives that she regretted not living up until the point to where she is, where she's going to off herself. So, in essence, the library gives you a second chance of different lives that you could have lived. What entails through the book is Nora's journey, reviewing all the potential lives that she could have had and experiencing them, the ups and downs, the heartbreak, the heartache, I don't know what the positive word for heartache is, the enjoyment of different lives, but then also coming to the realization that sometimes the life that you have is the best life for you. So, I have just finished The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Here is my review. So, for the first 30 pages, damn, Nora's having a bad day, right? Everything that potentially could go wrong seems to be going wrong for her, and you're left slowly not jumping on board the fact that you want to see her kill herself, but Matt Haig puts layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers for the first 30 odd pages where you're like, okay, I can foresee this happening, and I can see where somebody who was at this point is just continuing getting, having a bad day, having negativity dumped on top of negativity, dumped on top of negativity, dumped on top of negativity to get them in a position to where they actually, make the decision to off themselves. So it was great to see a little bit of realism in relation to that. The Midnight Library concept, though, holy crap, I really enjoyed that. The Midnight Library concept is fantastic, and I am surprised that nobody has done this before, because it touches on the realism of life. The fact that you live your life, but sometimes you sit there and go, shit, if I had just done that and taken a turn here at XYZ age, my life would be completely different to what I have now. Or if I said yes instead of no, what could have happened? It is a real great concept to a story. I loved the library aspect of this book. I loved the librarian aspect of this book. And I loved all the stories that are Nora's extra lives that she gets to live in this book. It is intriguing, and I understand why it was the best fiction book for 2020. Like, it is a legit story. I enjoyed it. I got taken out of the story 2 times, though, and I'll explain those 2 things now for you. The first time I got taken out of the story and I was a little confused was when she meets another person who was part of their own Midnight Library. So their own 2 stories crossed. And I'm like, okay, cool. In my mind, I was like, okay, cool. If you're both living that aspect and traveling through lives of regret, why not just meet up and live a full life together, Why just live your life and the regret life and then separate and then, if you come across each other again, sweet as, or other people again, sweet as, if not, it was just for me, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to separate and meet each other in real life and see what happens. But no, they didn't. So that took me a little bit out of the story. In addition to that, the second thing that took me out of the story was Nora's realization that people in different realities could not remember her from different realities. So in essence, you're meeting your brother for the first time. Something that had went on in a different reality is he's not going to remember because he's only in this reality. She did that quite a lot, especially in relation to her brother, and also the doctor that she had met while running, and the doctor that gave her dead cat. She was like, hey, you remember me? And he had no idea who she was. In addition, she did that also with the librarian in real life. And I was like, I sort of get it. I get the concept of why you would do that. But I'm like, come on, man, you've traveled all these lives. You should know the concept by now. But yeah, in saying that, they were my only two pet peeves. Overall, this story I found intriguing, and I will say this story makes you think a lot, where I was sitting there going, damn, if people read this book, there are a lot of people that I could potentially see that could relate to the story themselves, just where, overall, your life is your life. You take control of it and you go down whatever avenue you want to go down, but just understand that, what you may regret may not necessarily be the best option for you. The best option for you may be the actual option that you're living at this time and place. So, yeah, it was intriguing. I love the ending of the book. The ending of the book came full circle. I just wanted her to, hook up with the doctor. I'm just going to say that. I'm just like, come on, man, you need to hook up with the doctor. But it didn't really give us that closure in relation to her story. But Nora did make closure with her family, which was, I guess, the overall aspect of the story itself is just family, because she really cared for her family at the end of the day in relation to all her regrets, because all her regrets were related to her family in some sort of way. Herself, yes, but she was always checking to see what was going on with her family. So that was great to see the ending tie in there. Overall, completely enjoyed this book. Now, the question will be, will The Midnight Library by Matt Haig be going onto my bookshelf? I don't know. To be honest, no, off the bat is my first reaction. I enjoyed it. I've read it. Would I reread it again? Probably not, because I know what the story entails and I may not get the same amount of enjoyment from it. However, with that being said, I'm like, when I was reading this book, I was picturing it with Pay It Forward, going, if people could read these two books together, Pay It Forward in relation to just doing good deeds, and The Midnight Library in relation to just being able to live your life that you have with no regrets, it may help a lot of people, in real life. So, no, it's not, but I may try and get a copy just to keep there. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So you haven't made the bookshelf, but you might if I can pick up a decent copy at a decent price. But yeah, I would say The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, a very enjoyable book. If you haven't read it, go out and read it. It's going to make you think. It's a thinking person's book. That's what I'm going to say. So Bookworms, as a custom here on the Weekend Readers Book Club, one book closes, another book has to open. And it is now time to find out what the next read for the Weekend Readers Book Club is. And Bookworms, we can confirm that the next read is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This book was in my TBR pile, and I got this book at the same time as Verity. And I just haven't got along to reading it. So I'm going to give Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover a read and see if I enjoy it as much as I did Verity that I read last year. So yeah, Colleen Hoover, Ugly Love, you are the next read. So Bookworms, that was my discussion and review of The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, a book that the wait was well worth the read. I waited 6 months to get this book through the library. I get the hype after reading it. It's going to make you think. I enjoyed the fact that it makes you think. It makes you think about the story, and it makes you think about your own life, and it works well. And I don't know why, I just want to package this book, as I said, with pay it forward and have every youth in the world read it so they understand moving forward that just to be kind and happy and look out for the fellow man and just live your life to the fullest with no regrets. With that being said, you can feel free to follow us. Our socials are Instagram, Goodreads, Weekend Readers Book Club, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts from, under the name The Weekend Readers. Until next time, Bookworms, thank you again for joining us. And happy reading.